Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Guys, what's up? Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I'm here with my friend Karina. She's one of my youth students, and I thought it'd be super cool to do an interview where we talk about one of the fruits of the Spirit, which is kindness. So Karina, I know you're learning and growing and very intrigued by the word of the Lord. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, right, and see how developed you are, what you think of these questions, okay?
Yeah.
The first one is, how do you personally define kindness, and how has it played a role in your life?
Kindness. Okay, so kindness, I'd say, is being genuine towards others and showing, I want to say acts of kindness, but that's literally what we're talking about.
Acts of kindness.
Right, like being nice to others, showing genuine feelings, being nice, polite around other people, going all out for others.
Okay, yeah. And so you're in high school, right? So that has a lot of, you have a lot of opportunities to be kind, right?
Right, because it's a lot of people around.
Right. And that's great that you share that and you're like that, right? But can you share examples of moments when you experienced or witnessed kindness that left a lasting impact in your life?
Let's see. Gotta think about this one because it's many. Okay. I think it really doesn't have to be like a big thing. It can be like the smallest things that are an act of kindness. Like sometimes there would be times where like I dropped something in my class and somebody that I don't even know, like they'd pick it up for me and be like, "Oh, you dropped something." It's like it's the bare minimum. Like it's still nice because not everybody does that like in today's generation.
Right.
So it's simple things like that. You know what I mean? Or like just giving somebody a simple compliment, like one day, like in school or something, just being kind.
Yeah.
Like it's just those like everyday things.
Cool. No, that's awesome, and it's great to see that the youth, is actually still doing that nowadays. Because you also have the other side of bullying and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So in challenging situations, how do you find the strength to respond with kindness?
I'd say, through the Lord.
Okay.
I feel like praying for wisdom and asking Him to calm you down. Because I feel like when we get irritated as people, we want to act out with those emotions. But we have to seek God first, you know what I mean? Like, to be able to control ourselves and not act upon that. Because it's really hard. It's really hard not to, but...
Cool. Yeah, I love how you said that you have found the strength in the Lord. And as we learn, right, the Holy Spirit is the one that cultivates the fruits of the Spirit. And it's really cool that you are aware and choose to seek that out. Right? So what role does empathy play in practicing kindness, and how can it be cultivated, do you think, around your circles, around your friends? You were in cheer this past fall, so how do you think it could be cultivated, kindness, around your everyday circles?
So basically the question is how to, like bring up like kindness, like in our everyday life. Yep. Let's see. I think it goes from like simple things such as like helping others in like whatever, like if somebody is struggling with something, maybe approaching them and like letting them know that you're there, like not like no peer pressure or nothing, but just being a shoulder for somebody, or just letting somebody know that you've got them like in your mind, like praying over them and just stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that, praying over people, right? Because not everybody needs to know that you're actually doing something kind for them, right? You can do it where it's in your own time, in your own private time with the Lord, and God will do the rest, right? We're just called to plant seeds, and planting seeds of kindness through prayer is a big thing that a lot of us might forget, right? So I love that. Great. So how does kindness contribute to building and sustaining healthy friendships?
Oh, okay. So it was like a pretty obvious one. Being kind is like really important, and just being genuine with others, it'll really cultivate a healthy friendship, I think, especially if it's like based on like your relationship with the Lord. Like, you guys are both focused on having a relationship with God and stuff, and don't idolize like other things in your friendship. I feel like that will create a really healthy friendship, and just being kind.
You know what? Being kind in a friendship sometimes can be difficult because we're people, right? And we're complex. I think I'm a big giver, so that's one of the things that I love to do. So I'm always giving words of encouragement. You know, that could be something that you do with your friends, or you could also, you know, just check in on them as much as you can and allow them to know that you care enough to just send them a text daily or whatever. Like a lot of people nowadays are like in the do not disturb mode.
Right. That's so big.
So I'm like, just spread kindness, give them compliments, you know.
Right.
If they're going through a rough time, bring them back into prayer, bring them back into, you know, to the perspective that the Lord will give them the strength and the right answers for everything else, you know. And it could also be as simple as, you know, when you guys go out, like pick up the tab or things like that, right? I mean, you guys are still super young, but that's something I do with my friends. It's like, if I invite you out, let me, you know, pay it forward for you and, you know, just have a great time.
Like simple gestures to show that you care.
Right. That's another way to do that. Are there any cultural factors that influence the expression of kindness around where you're at? In the circles that you are. I mean, you're Cuban, right? So, you know, growing up in Cuba, did you grow up in Cuba at all? No?
Oh, no. I was born here.
Okay. All right. So, do you think it would have been different if you were over there? Do you think Cubans are like not kind? Or what do you think?
I definitely do think it would be different. I want to say maybe if I grew up in Cuba, I feel like being around my family would definitely cultivate a more like kind atmosphere. But it really just depends. Like, I don't know really how to like describe it for this question. Yeah, it really depends the environment one grows up in, I think. And like you said, there's like a lot of cultural factors that impact the way we treat others and stuff like that. Like, I know that growing up like in a Hispanic household sometimes it's really hard because a lot of people grow up with that like you have to be nonchalant type of vibe, you know what I mean? But it doesn't always gotta be like that, you know?
Yeah, you know, me growing up in the household, it was 5 of us. My mom was a single mom of 5, so we literally just got up and got on with life when, you know, her life fell apart and our parents were together. So in that sense, we were always taught like, hey, be kind always. You never know what the next person is going to go through, like, because we knew what it felt like for your life to fall apart.
Right.
And my mom always just cultivated that environment of be nice, be good. No, you're not better than anybody. You know, God made us all the same, and everything else, right? So yeah, that's cool that you can say that about your family as well. Do you have any stories that have like emerged in unexpected or difficult circumstances where somebody was kind to you?
So basically, moments in which I've like gone through certain things that people
that were difficult for you.
Yeah, okay.
And somebody showed you kindness in some way.
Let's see. Well, there was this one time I was feeling like a little, depressed and sad, because like a whole bunch of schoolwork and stuff like that. It was piling up. But Yadira, so like she came over to my house one time and she gave me a word of like wisdom, and she read the Bible with me a little bit, and she encouraged me. She was just being really nice and supportive, and like she gave me a lot of motivation to actually do my work and focus, and I felt so much better the next day.
Oh, that's amazing. So you had a person that came to you directly and said, hey, I know what you're going through. Depression is very difficult, and I think in Hispanic households, those words, anxiety, depression, anything else, we kind of put them to the side, speaking from experience. But it's really cool that you got to experience somebody's love and kindness when you were going through that, because opening up about that is really hard and very it's very difficult to be so vulnerable nowadays, I think, because we're so scared that we're going to be judged, or we're going to be looked at differently, we're going to be maybe told that it's not real, right? Because that's the truth. So that's super cool that you got a friend that will go out and seek you out when you're in difficult times. For me, my friends are always praying for me. I kind of do the thing where if I'm going through something, I shine out. So like I stop hitting anybody up, and they already
Right.
know that, right? So they're always like, "Hey, you haven't texted us. What's up? What is going on?"
They know the drill.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just really cool to have people that love you and care for you just as you are, right? And that's amazing. Um, in what ways does kindness contribute to personal well-being and mental health? Do you think?
Okay, so in what ways does kindness contribute to
Mental
personal
health.
well-being,
Yep.
mental health?
Hmm.
It makes a big impact, I think, because when good things are coming into your life, people are sharing kind words with you, kind actions, it really just impacts the way you perceive like your surroundings and other people in your life, rather than being, to yourself, not having anybody in your corner, supporting you and stuff. It makes you feel like you're alone and like you don't have anybody, or you don't have anybody to encourage you when you can't encourage yourself.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely I think having good people in your corner, kind actions and, good habits around you, it really does impact your mental health for the better.
Right. And I know that, mental health is a big thing now because everybody's living a fast society life and we never disconnect. I mean, we
Mhm.
never disconnect from our phones. We never disconnect, for me, we never disconnect from emails, from phone calls, from everything else, right? So I always like to encourage people, like, pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about, paying for somebody in the line or seeing if somebody's struggling with a door, just open it. Or even like giving somebody a smile. Like how many people you walk by and don't smile at you? Like I'm like, sorry, I'm always gonna smile anyway,
Right.
right? So
It's always that nonchalant act.
but it's so good that we have the Holy Spirit to lead us and to make us notice when somebody needs a kind gesture, just like a hey, how are you? Or just catching up, because I know from my work, I just be talking to people, asking them, hey, how's it going? It's a heavy Monday today when I'm working or whatever. They're like, yeah, and then they just express their feelings. So like even just a small conversation can really help, right? And mental health, I think if you're kind to those that need it, it could save a life, to be honest, right?
It really can.
Because we are human and we're overloaded with a lot. And so it's so cool that we have God's perspective of it, right? Because sometimes people are kind, but they want something back in return, right? And that's not what we're called to do.
Right.
Right. How can we teach and encourage kindness in the next generation? I know you are the next generation, but as we prepare you guys, right, as I'm preparing you to go out and serve and be a better person through our youth ministry and everything else, how do you think you can help the next generation to spread kindness?
Okay, so for one, I definitely think encouraging others to get to know more of Christ and things like that, like from the things that we learn as, through the youth ministry and stuff, like to pass it on to others around us, and not by peer pressure or nothing, because I know there's like a lot of stereotypes like with Christians, trying to force the religion on other people. But in reality, the majority is not like that, in my opinion. Like we can just express, like, how do I say it, like acts of kindness and compassion, like show like it's respect, like with whatever, decide whatever you think, but try to like just help others see, the truth and stuff like that in a kind way, in a respectful way. um yeah, so I think passing it on to other people and like showing, kindness to others through what we have, I think that will really help like the next generation. And I also think that social media plays like a big factor, because it's like one of the biggest things like in our generation, like, it's like the biggest hold. So I think if we use like social media in a positive way, it'll really like this, for example. Like I think it'll really grab like the attention of like other people and the youth, and really just pull them more closer to the Lord.
That's good. Yes, I love that. I love that, and that's so true, right? That's why always looking for ways to bring more people in, always looking for ways to just let people know like Christ loves you, right? Like there is nothing else that you can think of. Like, even for me, I'm just like, yo, I don't want to like shove Jesus down your throat.
Right.
He's amazing. Like, he's
Mhm.
everything. He's giving me life. He's giving me love. He's giving me goodness. You know, and I just want to spread that kindness over and over and over again with anybody. Like, I'm always talking about Jesus. You already know how I am, but
It's great.
cool. What a fun interview, you guys. I had so much fun filming that with Karina, and I hope that you guys found some value in her answers. I really loved how I could bring the youth into this podcast episode because it allows us to see where the next generation is. And it made me so happy that her heart is with the Lord and she wants to encourage others to be kind and wants to encourage others to seek the Lord in all things. With that, I want to give you a few words, a few verses from the Bible that speak about kindness. The first one is in the Gospel of Luke 6:31. Do to others as you would have them do to you. So this is the golden rule of life. I think we hear that everywhere where, you know, treat others as you want to be treated. Talk to others how you want to be talked to, etc. But the Lord actually calls us to be loving, accepting, and spread good words to everybody we come in contact with. So that's really good. Another one was Psalms 145:8. The Lord is gracious and passionate, slow to anger and rich in love. That right there lets you know that we are called to be kind. We are mirroring who the Lord is. If you're slow to anger, then that means you're patient. If you're loving and rich in love and compassionate, that means that you are kind and good and love everybody as best as you can, right? And with kindness, I feel like it's so simple, but sometimes can be so overlooked. And that's why I also want to challenge you guys. The next slide will give you guys a kindness challenge that we're going to be posting on our social media platforms. And I hope that you can join us to create a ripple effect of kindness. So if you do, I'm going to put my Instagram and my hashtags and everything else below so that you guys can join in and we can just share the love. Anyways, as always, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. And remember that I love you, but the Lord loves you more. Always, always, always. God bless.